Cheers to 2022 and resolutions that you can actually keep. How about having clean and shiny balls all year round? Our sponsors here at Manscaped, they're here to save your balls this year and make the ball drop into 2022 the cleanest and the sexiest ever. Set your first New Year's resolution with good intentions and join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and use code Tougie for 20% off and free shipping. It's new year, new me with the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming. This year, take your package to the next level with their Performance Package 4.0 and brand new Ultra Premium, trademark, body wash. Inside the Performance Package 4.0, you'll find the Signature Lawnmower 4.0. Everything's 4.0. This electric trimmer is designed to trim hair on loose skin. The advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts and nicks on your delicate nuts. It also comes equipped with a 4,000K LED spotlight that will shine a light into the promised land. 2022 looks to be. You've heard the expression where the sun don't shine. Well, this light can shine there. Grooming routine isn't complete without applying the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver before showering off your 2022 self. These unique formulations take care of the smelliest parts of your body and are a big boost to your confidence into the new year. And to complete the set, Manscaped has thrown in their Shed Travel Bag and Anti-Chafing Boxer Briefs as free gifts to keep all your goodies stored comfortably. And the new product that needs no introduction, the Ultimate Premium Ultra Premium Body Wash from Manscaped solves all three for the perfect addition to your daily grooming routine, but in the shower. I shower every day. Sometimes I even take baths. I hope you do as well, at least to the first part. This body wash smells great too. Cologne infused with aloe vera and sea salt to keep your skin feeling clean, nice, and moisturized. Kick discomfort and poor hygiene to the curb this year and use the best tools for the job. Whether your routine is to work out more or travel to new places, be sure to travel to manscaped.com for our exclusive offer of 20% off and free shipping with the code Tougie. Cheers to new balls in 2022.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Tougies Take podcast. We are back again, the guys, the fellas. Us, the guys, the fellas. Sin is here, of course, as we mentioned. Every other Tuesday he won't be, but he's back. He's here on Fridays, baby, every time. And, of course, Mr. Endo Mills here as well, looking dapper for those of you watching on the YouTube side of things. I was gonna ask how Endo's doing. I guess we found out. Sin, how you doing this Friday?
I'm not as good as Endo, apparently, but I'm doing fantastic.
Tremendous. Oh my God. So today we get to talk about the world of stick puck. We also might talk a little bit of football because Sin's back, so we can talk about football because he knows the NFL and Endo's Canadian. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun day. We get to talk about the All-Stars for the NHL, or the not All-Stars, because, well, we'll talk about that and how many people might actually be the appropriate representative for what is still called an All-Star game. Again, whether or not the term All-Star actually applies again, we'll discuss that. On top of this show being presented to you by our lovely friends at Manscaped, I also want to mention here, that's right, we're hitting you with back-to-back ads. Not really, but at the very least, want to give a shout-out to our new friends over at Thrive Fantasy, who also have an exclusive offer for you. Come prop up this NHL season. It's a daily fantasy sports app for player prop bets. With Thrive, you can eliminate the countless hours of research and focus only on the top tier athletes that had the biggest impact on the game. You choose 10 out of 20 available player props to build your lineup. Each prop is assigned a fantasy value for the over and under based on how likely it is to hit. A good example, the other day, one of the lines, Claude Giroux, 0.5. goals, over, under. Basically, will Claude Giroux score a goal? He hasn't done that too often. If you said yes, hey, congratulations. You're a big-time winner there. Hit the most props, rack up the most points to win the share, or the lion's share of the prize pool, of course. Thrive has over $15,000 in prizes for the NHL and has awarded over $5 million in total. Use promo code Tougie. When you sign up today, you will receive a 100% instant first deposit match for up to $100, plus 2 free contest entries when you deposit at least $10. Download Thrive Fantasy on the App Store or Play Store, or by visiting their website at www.thrivefantasy.com. Sign up, prop up today. Use code Tougie there as well. Gentlemen, let's go to a lovely segment to kick off today's show. Not named viewer questions, unfortunately, because we have way too much to talk about today as it is, but a lovely segment that I get to call Catching Up with... Why do you even listen? We don't appreciate you. Get out. All we see is dollar signs, thanks to Manscaped and Thrive. Oh, God. Remember back in the day on Twitch? Let's go meta with this. Remember back in the day on Twitch, I said something along those lines, and some people took it super, super seriously. Like, you actually think that about people? You actually don't like your viewers?
Was that when you had like a huge protest against you and people were coming to me being like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. My comment section on YouTube would get bombed every time, and I'm just like, that helps me. It helps me. Yeah. That's the best part about the internet is if people are mad at you, it's still fine.
Yeah,
Case in point, the Twitch streamers right now. I can't believe I can't watch all of MasterChef. Yeah. Total plan. They get to come back. Everyone's talking about him. Logan Paul faking this fucking $3.5 million Pokemon card thing. Negative attention is good attention. You're talking about them. They win. The end. If you don't want people to be around, don't talk about them. So thank you. Let's catch up with Sin, because as Endo and I mentioned, this has been a weird show to begin with, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Great. Sin, you missed, as you have the habit to do, one hell of a show in terms of the amount of talking points that we have. I don't know what the hell is up with that, but if we ever need something interesting to happen, we'll tell you to just sit out for a week. 3 primary topics that I want to get your thoughts on. First and foremost, as our resident Sharks fan, Evander Kane. Go.
It happened. His contract got terminated. We'll see what the settlement looks like. I don't know. It's kind of like here's the thing. The easiest comparable is the Richards situation, and he's technically still being paid out to this day. But here's the thing. This is also such a different kind of situation in that it's a global kind of issue. This is such a touchy issue, and he does it not once but twice, 2 different levels. And yeah, I don't know. I know the NHLPA is going to fight for him. They have to fight for him. Also, escrow. I think they still get paid on their escrow if even though the contract is terminated and they settle. Who the heck knows? But here's the thing. He's off the Sharks books. That's fine. We traded a late 20s pick for him. We got a couple playoff runs out of him. Everything went to shit afterwards. Sure, we didn't. The worst thing about it is we kept him over Pavelski. That's how the domino falls. But yeah, and then Connor McDavid proved to the world that hockey culture absolutely sucks.
You know, we were going to talk about that a little bit later on.
Sorry. It's
okay. So. I mean, we know Sin's thoughts on it. Endo, the Connor McDavid statement or lack thereof in regards to, and here was the quote, and it sounds awful. Quote, if fans don't like it, or the media doesn't like it, or whatever, it is what it is. Connor McDavid speaking on Evander Kane potentially joining the Oilers. I just view this as him being like, don't fucking bother me, I don't care, I just want to win hockey games, somebody please help me. And how do you view it?
That's exactly how I view it too. I think personally, I made a tweet about that as well, basically saying, yeah, this is a guy who's frustrated having no help on his team whatsoever. Zach Hyman's great. Nugent Hopkins is great, but he's frustrated. He's completely frustrated, and he's saying that, we could grab someone, anybody with a pulse who can play hockey well and at a top tier level for basically almost nothing. I'm gonna jump at the horse to get that. He doesn't really care because he's been there for what, six years in Edmonton, more than that, like 7.
Jeez,
like he's been there for a while.
God, it was the 2015 draft, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's been there for
2015 NHL draft. Connor McDavid, first overall. Yeah, it's been almost 7 years.
7-8 years, and he's had like a sniff of the cup just the second round. Granted, it's more than the Leafs have had so far in almost 20 years. But at the same breath, you've got to feel for him in a way because he just wants someone to help him get there. He's frustrated. He's pissed because they do well. Like, they have the numbers, they have the talent there, but they just don't execute.
And at the same time, sorry to cut you off, if they are actually going to bring Evander Kane in, and Connor McDavid has already said in the press conference, yeah, we really don't want him, it kind of fucks up a lot of things and makes it a really complicated situation for Evander Kane to walk into, does it not?
Exactly. I think another thing on that too is, are you really going to tell your boss live in front of press and media, yeah, I don't want him here? Like,
Yes.
basically tell him, like, I don't want him this, I don't want him that. Like, you could do that probably privately, but I'm guaranteeing you that the Edmonton Oilers organization wants to save face and just don't put any bad messages out there about anybody whatsoever because of whatever reasons. And NHL fucking organizations are weird, super weird. I mean, there are rumors that the Toronto Maple Leafs are interested in them, and the Leafs have been a very big component of speaking up against stuff like that. So, like, it makes it think what the hell was going on in the NHL and what the hell is going on in Edmonton that your star player wants this guy to help out, and everyone's turning on him. I get why they're turning on him. I wouldn't blame them, honestly. But at the end of the day, your top talent wants bigger assets. And the fact that you already said in the press conference that on that same day that you're not willing to give out your first-round pick, he's probably thinking, if you're not going to give your first-round pick to get a guy in here, at least pick this guy up for free.
Fair enough. Sin, as well. Your thoughts on Mark Bergevin being hired by the LA Kings?
Oh, I was just gonna comment on the McDavid thing, but
No, keep going. Yeah, if you get another point, go ahead.
I
thought he
do.
wanted to
I
dodge on
absolutely do.
purpose.
Yeah, I gotta say, you absolutely can, if you're Connor McDavid, go out there and say, I don't want this guy on my team. Number one, you're Connor fucking David. Number two, you're the captain of the team. And number three, doing things behind closed doors and doing things silently is not comparing the two situations. But that's the sort of thing of trying to not take a stand on things and try to keep everything hush-hush and maintain the wave is exactly how the situations like Kyle Beach happened. Again, not comparing the two situations, but it's that sort of mentality that lets those things kind of continue. I don't know. I don't like the win at all costs mentality. I simply don't. Everyone's like, "Oh, they're professional athletes. They're paid to win. They're paid to represent the brand." First and foremost, that's what they're paid. They're representing the city. They're representing the brand. In their contract, it doesn't just say play hockey, we pay you this much. There is public appearance stipulations. There is other sort of stipulations that they have to adhere to, like personal things. Like, that's the reason. Oftentimes, like, some people have just been like kind of ostracized.
I mean, great. Well, again, not to cut you off either. I'm pretty good at that. Sorry. Like, to your point, like a lot of people forget that for a lot of these professional athletes, you kind of can't say and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, to your point, like the name that comes to mind for me now recently is someone like Kyle Larson for NASCAR, who was, again, the guy at the middle of the pandemic who dropped the hard ER on a live stream.
Nice.
But in fairness to him, you know, he did go back and handle things the right way. Ended up, you know, winning the NASCAR title this year. But to Sin's point, it's like, oh, you know, there is that fine line. I don't want to say checks and balances, but to that point, just in the way people have to conduct themselves.
Yeah,
but
to sort of simplify what I'm trying to say here is that hockey and sports are much, much bigger than the game itself. You're out there, you are setting an example, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. There's kids out there playing the game. What do you teach kids at a young level? You teach them sportsmanship, you teach them to have fun, you teach them to respect your opponent, respect the game, and you're trying to, it's more than just win. And why all of a sudden when you get to the professional level, that's what it just has become. I don't think it should be like that. And I think that's a negative kind of aspect to have, is just this win at all costs. Because, you know, what if you brought Slava Voynov back? He's a good defenseman. Just fucking bring him back. Who cares? Don't suspend, holy crap, Avalanche goal, Varlamov. Don't suspend him, you know, whatever. That happened off the ice. You know, we don't care. We just want to win. Like, you can't say that the game's only about winning and just about that if you're having these other situations happen. And this, in my opinion, one thing that kind of is the question for me, what would be the Edmonton's mentality if they weren't on a skid? Would they even touch Evander Kane? And that is what is the big red flag to me, is that they're only considering it because of just the record. And you get to a certain point and then you're like, oh, I'm willing to, like, where's the threshold where you're willing to overlook all this shitty things and sign a guy based on his on-ice ability? D'Angelo.
Exactly.
Montreal's draft pick, Mayu. That Arizona dude who's still playing hockey. The bully guy. I forget all the
Mitch
names
Miller.
now because I don't want to remember their names.
Yeah,
but
Mitchell Miller.
Thank you. That's kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I agree with that completely. It goes back to the organization basically digging themselves a hole, and the way I see it with what you're saying is they basically kind of dug themselves deep enough that they're looking for ways for them to get by without having to give up anything. The one thing to be giving up here would be obviously press, but at the end of the day, they don't really. We've shown that a lot of organizations in the NHL or the NHL themselves don't care about bad press. They see it as anything to get names in there, to see, a guy with his history, and that set of crowd to be like, oh, yeah, well, look, he got a second chance. Well, what about this guy? And, like it's in business. Bad press equals good press.
Mark Bergevin for the LA Kings.
Yeah, I love the NHL. It's continuing to recycle the same guys like over and over and over again. What the hell?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
This is it's the literal definition of insanity. Yeah, okay, he's not the GM. He's still in an organization. It's just, hey, it's a big, to quote George Carlin, it's a big fucking club and you're not in it. And that's what it feels like hockey is. It's all these old dudes continuing to give each other jobs and just like shuffle things around. And yeah, it's very rare that we see like new people jump into these sort of positions. And hey,
there you go. And Jack Eichel already in practice with the Vegas Golden Knights. Your thoughts?
He's not going to come back. They're going to fucking Kucherov him. They cannot bring him back. And it's. I think they've. Well, here's the thing: him practicing already is just a huge flex from Vegas and from just anyone looking to subvert the cap. Like, yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna just bring it back to the playoffs. We're gonna subvert the cap, and y'all can't do anything about it because Tampa's done it. And
fair enough. And the last thing, go ahead.
I make a quick comment on that. There should be something in the NHL, NHLPA, or medical agreement that the medical team has to report to the NHL if a player is ready or not, because this way it would evaluate different ways of people surveying the cap. They probably already do, but like more strict in a way, because you don't want another Kucherov situation happening where he just like, oh, he's fine, or like he supposedly is like fine until the playoffs, or you hold him off there previously on LTIR or whatever reason, just miraculously back. I feel like there's a lot of, again, lost secrecy in the NHL. We've already talked about stuff happening in last week about the
upper body injury.
Yeah, UBI, just like UBI or LTI. Like, come on. That's my take.
So then the final thing that I wanted to hear from you, because again, I can't really talk football with Endo.
Yeah.
The playoffs are coming up. This weekend, both of our favorite teams are in. Of course, your Green Bay Packers, the number 1 seed in the NFC, will not be playing this week. No. But I kind of want to do a pick'em here. I want to see how accurate we end up being.
I'm not going to be accurate. I don't follow football as much. So I watch Packers games. I watch some of the bigger stuff, but I caught like barely part of the weird Raiders and whatever the hell happened in that one. I don't even understand, but my dad's happy his Raiders are doing stuff, finally.
They are in the playoffs, so there you go. So, we have, first and foremost, the Steelers, who made it in because of that crazy ridiculousness between the Raiders and the Chargers. They are taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Who's winning this game?
I mean, gut feeling says the Chiefs, but they've been a little weird this year. They started off really bad. And I'd honestly, Jackson Mahomes is a fucking curse. And that's his brother, right? Jackson?
Yes. Yeah, I think his name is Jackson.
He's a curse on that team. Somehow his TikToks have cursed him. Steelers gone to Super Bowl. I don't know.
We'll see. That's for
It's
me.
the
I
meme,
want
like,
the. I'm picking the Steelers to win.
I want the chaos.
Solely for you, Tree. Solely for you, Tree.
I would love just to see what the man might implode, but I want maximum chaos most of the time. Chiefs are great. I love watching Mahomes, but like with everything that weird happens, yeah.
Endo, make a choice: Kansas City or Pittsburgh. I think Sin and I both officially went with Pittsburgh.
Can I vote neither? Can I vote a tie? Wait,
Nope, you got to vote. We got to see who can have more success. Sin and I, who do pay attention,
because he's gonna just
exactly
blind pick everything.
Exactly. That's what I want. It's what I want. Kansas City or Pittsburgh.
Oh fuck! You guys are both gonna have TikTok dancers in the middle of the fucking field anyway. So let's just go with Kansas City.
There you go. Endo goes
He's
to the
gonna
favorite.
Get that right. I know it.
He is too. He is too. The Buffalo Bills
That's
and
right,
the
baby.
New England
The
Patriots.
Bills, let's go Bills. They played
we
in
know
Toronto
Endo's
like
choice.
4 fucking times. I have no clue the team whatsoever. I just like that they played in Toronto, even though like everyone here hated that they played in Toronto. They hated playing in Toronto. I don't give a fuck.
Endo.
The Bills, baby.
Endo is that friend who's not into the sport at all, but he's at the party and it's like someone mentions Buffalo. He's like, fuck yeah, go
Yeah,
Bills.
Buffalo.
I gotta fit in. This is my foothold in the fitting in.
Nice Buffalo.
Oh, man.
I'm going for the Pats, but I'm not holding my breath. I mean, I don't think a rookie quarterback has won in the playoffs since like 2012 or 2014 or some shit like that. Obviously, the Bills should win this. They are in a better spot right now than the Patriots, but it's the Bills in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Who's to say?
That's my argument. It's the Bills in the playoffs, and then they're going against Belichick, and he's very, very, very good coach. And I know I've liked Mac Jones. I have
Best of all time.
I think I can't even dispute that. I have liked Mac Jones. The thing that I worry about is what Bills. I think it was the Bills like 34% of the snaps they've been able to pressure the QB. I saw that stat as I was working out today. Actually, they had some fucking sports talk show on, and I was like, "That's an interesting fucking stat." And I was like, "Oh, this is." And I forgot that they're playing the Bills. I'm like, "Oh, this is such a perfect matchup." Tougie's just going to be trolling for like an entire week, and honestly, like. It is the Bills in the playoffs. They probably will win, but I'd rather see the Pats win just because for some reason Buffalo, just their suffering makes me laugh. And so
That's because of architects. It's 100% because of architects.
The architects' reaction when they fold. It's gonna be like, "You're fucking trash, just trash. Josh Allen should be better. Free Josh Allen. Trash."
I want to trade Josh Allen for Jacksonville's Josh Allen. We might win something. Oh, God. So far, Sin and I both going with the underdogs. Endo is 100% going to win this prediction. A final wild card matchup in the AFC. The Las Vegas Raiders, which is still weird as shit, against the Cincinnati Bengals. Two teams who have sucked in the playoffs for almost my entire life, but one of them will actually win a playoff game. I don't know who, though.
I have to go with my dad. Carr. Carr has been... He's been a little weird as a QB, but it's his goddamn time. Yes, go back to Oakland, indeed. I can't even... I hate actually predicting them, but I want them mostly for my dad, but also I think Carr's a good dude, and I want to see him succeed. And that's pretty much the sole reason. Like, there's no even analysis. I don't even analyze football enough to really know. I'm just like, go with them. But the Bengals have a pretty decent... Were they one of the ones that drafted someone pretty recently?
Yeah, they have Joe Burrow, and then they
that's
took
the one.
his teammate at LSU, Jamar Chase, who is like Randy Mossing people.
Yeah,
constantly.
like they're
or maybe not outright, but he's just so goddamn
Yeah,
fast.
like
It's
we'll see if they
ridiculous.
could stand up to the pressure. Obviously, he beat Clemson and his last year, and he's got that awesome footage of him just smoking a cigar, walking and shit. Like he's a badass. I would. So fuck. I don't know. Like both of the teams are so weird and bad. Like I love Carr, but again, probably not going to win. But I feel like I have to predict that.
For me, it's similar. I think Cincy will win. One of my best friends is a Raiders fan and has suffered for a very long time. So I'm going for the Raiders on this one, which means Endo will probably pick the Bengals and go 3-0.
Just go opposite of us, Endo, and you will probably win.
I just want to have fun.
So do girls.
Oh,
Just go
God.
with Cincy,
And
fuck
no,
it.
Vegas or Cincy. All right, he's going for
Cincy,
Cincy. Really quickly then to go to the NFC side of things. I know a lot of people don't give a shit about football, but hey, again, we gotta talk about it. It's the NFL
It's the
playoffs.
American
Come on,
way,
you're gonna
motherfuckers.
pay attention. We have Philadelphia, the Eagles, taking on the defending Super Bowl champions, Tom Brady, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sin, how do you see this one going?
How many people on Philadelphia are injured? Seem to always be injured. I like Jalen Hurts. I'm gonna go with Tom Brady. I'm never, ever gonna bet against Tom Brady ever. And it's just he's all right. He's proven that he is the GOAT, and you can argue about raw talent between him and Rodgers, and I will. But yeah, I was like, I was kind of I was a little bit on the train of system QB. He goes away from Belichick's system and he wins. I'm like, all right, hands up. I have to give it up at this point. Like all of it, 100%. 100% on him.
He somehow got Antonio Brown to get his shit together for just long enough to win a Super Bowl, and then Antonio Brown fucking blew it again.
I know. Yeah,
That's the real talent. I will say, of course, as a Patriots fan, I am very much on the Tom Brady bandwagon. I'll never take anything away from the Peyton Mannings of the world, the Aaron Rodgers of the world. Great quarterbacks, all-timers. Endo, you're going for Philadelphia just to be the opposite?
Eagles, more like the losers.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't think they're gonna win. You don't bet against Tom Brady. I know a little bit about football, except for the fact that I don't know anything besides like, oh, Tom Brady's the best. Aaron Rodgers takes fucking horse dewormer. Let me see what else. Antonio Brown's a nutcase, unfortunately. What is it? Johnny Manziel was a football guy once. Now he's a crackhead. And
Johnny Manziel, notable footballman.
yeah, that was a
You know what?
fan-controlled football league player.
The Eagles would win if they put that one fan in the game. He's got all the heart. I played 2 years, varsity. I'm in the best shape of my life. Let's go, Eagles. Holy shit. That's one of my favorite videos of all time.
And this is why we talk about football from time to time, everybody.
All heart, that guy. Fuck.
Oh, God.
Yeah, what other football knowledge do I know?
I don't know. We'll talk. We'll think about it this week.
Yeah, the best. Sorry. Okay, yeah. Okay, go next.
People jumping through tables. That's your football.
Yeah, that's our culture.
San Francisco and Dallas.
Ugh.
I gotta be honest. I'd prefer San Francisco to win.
I prefer both of these teams to just lose.
To lose.
I hate San
I'm
Francisco.
going Dallas.
I hate San
I'm
Francisco.
going Dallas.
Yeah, I'm gonna go them. Fuck. We've been like in line for all of our guesses so far.
Every single one. Yeah, we have yet to diverge.
I legit don't like San Francisco because I've been a Packers fan, and in elementary school when they beat the Packers in this really big playoff game, I was bullied at school hard the next day, like absolutely hard. And since that day, fuck the Niners. So I also fuck the Cowboys. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Niners simply because I want to see Stephen A. Smith's little mini video when the Cowboys lose. If the Cowboys lose.
Oh God. I really want to change my pick, but to make this interesting, I'll stay. I'll stay.
Hey, Skip.
Okay, so
God.
just general question.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys are the Maple Leafs of the NFL.
Yes.
Yes, they think they're fucking God's gift to Earth, and they haven't.
They've
done
won
shit.
more recently. But yes, it is the fan base of every year is their year, no matter what. Yes.
That sounds absolutely terrible. I don't want them to win. Yeah, I'm gonna go with them. I have sympathy for being a Leaf. Just have them win. Fuck it.
And the final matchup, the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. Here's the thing. I would say Rams, and then to discourage Kyler Murray so that he goes back and plays baseball for the A's. That's never happening. So I'm gonna cheer for Kyler Murray instead. The worst fucking first rounder spent by the Oakland A's.
Oh,
We're gonna
man.
go with the
God.
Arizona Coyotes, even though Deke has just been saying all year that they're pretenders. I don't know. They look pretty good at times. And hey,
Isn't
Yeah.
it-
No,
is-
I mean,
we stand a short king. Let's go, Kyler Murray.
I was gonna say, isn't he like the shortest QB in the league?
let's see. NFL quarterbacks.
What he lacks in size, he makes up for in
by
heart
height.
and intangibles.
Let's see. Is this from this year? Oh God, it's not. Well, Russell Wilson's only 5'11", so there's a real question there
I
as to
swear
whether or
he
not
is
he is.
like 5'11", like with his helmet
God.
on. So he's like 5'6" without the helmet.
I will.
It's like Zdeno
I will look
Chara,
this
8
up.
feet on skates.
I will look this up.
Me.
I will say, like the Cardinals obviously started. He's 5'10", Kyler Murray. So
Yeah,
I don't know if he's the
short
shortest, but
Let's go.
short king by NFL quarterback standards. The Cardinals started off the season great and then kind of blew it. The Rams have Matthew Stafford, the quarterback. So as much as I want to root for Matthew Stafford's success, they also lost. The Rams lost one of the best receivers recently. I gotta go for Arizona. So Sin and I literally are only differing on San Francisco and Dallas. Endo, Arizona or Los Angeles?
Hold on 1 second. I gotta Google
Montana,
something really quick.
Alabama, LA.
Yeah, fuck you, Spanos. I'm going with Arizona.
There you go. And Spanos is the the Chargers owner,
Fuck
not
you,
the Red Sox.
Spanos. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you, Spanos.
I don't even know what's happening.
I don't give a
Alright,
fuck
so-
either way.
God, for everyone who was looking forward to some lovely football talk, there it is for you. I don't know. Maybe we'll clip that up and put it up on the Patreon. Maybe not.
That was hilarious.
That was delightful.
That
though.
was fun. That was great. We should, yeah. I like talking about other sports.
Yeah, we'll continue to follow along as best we can. To get into the hockey talk today, 3 quick little things before we start talking about the All-Star game and the nominees there. First and foremost, Eric Stahl is trying to make a comeback effort here, which honestly, I'm surprised he didn't sign anywhere to begin with. Like, I don't know if he's truly cooked. He might be, the wheels might not be what they were. But he has signed a tryout with the AHL's Iowa Wild, and apparently the game plan is to get him a spot on the Canadian Olympic team, which again, like there was the list out there that looks totally fake. Again, we will talk more about the Olympics when the rosters are 100% set in stone, similar to what the USA roster is, but even then, we're still a month away, so who knows.
It's going to be Stahl and Marlowe leading them to a gold.
And the trophy celebration, the gold medals are presented in slow motion. And at 4 p.m. along with their dinners.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Give me my gold after I've had my nap.
Eric, get me my teeth. I need to smile for the cameras.
Patrick, I can't find mine either.
Patrick Marleau and Eric Stahl, the first 2 players to walk to the podium with a walker. Oh, God, I love them both. Hockey Hall of Famers, but goddamn. Whew. Other good news. Alex Stalock is apparently making a comeback. He has missed all of this season so far due to a heart condition. He's been cleared, is currently on waivers at the time of recording. I can't imagine anyone will claim him to stay with Edmonton, which means the Oilers could start this season with Smith and Koskinen and finish the year with Stalock and Stuart Skinner. Stanley Cup, here we come. Edmonton Oilers.
Stalock is going to, yeah, if Stalock does what he does, I don't know how he's going to come back, but dude, he looked good at time, like a lot. I remember in Minnesota, he was playing over Dubnyk before the Sharks acquired. This was a few years ago, obviously, but he was the guy for the Wild in the playoffs. I mean, you never know. Again, goalies are weird.
As is Paul Bissonnette, who tried to break a stick over his leg on the TNT broadcast and had to try and Ric Flair strut walking off to hide how much pain he was in. The TNT broadcast is amazing. Between that and Brad Marchand being like, yeah, it's tough when we had the live mics on. We always try to be careful. You never know what shit might come out. See, shit, I said it on live TV. The TNT broadcasts are exactly what I was hoping they'd be. So similar to what the NBA does. They're incredibly entertaining.
They knew exactly who the cast when they brought Biz Nasty on there. I was like, yeah, you guys have the perfect guy right there. It's amazing how well their broadcast is doing. I mean, you saw especially how the numbers were for the Winter Classic, and that was like their first broadcast, like completely. And now that they have basically Biz being an idiot on the show and getting more viewers than ever, hats off to those guys. They clearly know how to market a product better than we thought. I'm glad that the NHL's back on TNT. I can't see it here in Canada, but I just watch it on Twitter anyway. So
there you go.
I'm glad you Americans are enjoying it. I really am.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's about time our hockey coverage finally kind of got up to par, for the love of God. In terms of marketing a product, though, that was an interesting choice of words because TNT is good at marketing the NHL. I don't know if the NHL is very good at marketing the All-Star game, though, which, of course, will be happening with them not going to the Olympics. Obviously, there are some interesting stories. Jack Campbell, 12 years after being drafted, he's going to the All-Star game. Then you have someone like Nathan MacKinnon saying, how the hell is Nazem Kadri not an All-Star? So what we're going to do is pretty much go through every team and talk about, hey, what the hell, or hey, that was the right choice, right? And I want to start off in the Metro Division, alphabetical, with the Carolina Hurricanes. Their two nominees, Frederik Andersen and Sebastian Aho. Can't disagree with it at all. Freddie Andersen has a .926 save percentage in 24 games. Aho leads the team with 37 points in 31 games. The next highest scorer is Svechnikov, who is in the running for last man in, which is the fan voting. He has 26 points in 31 games. Maybe some, you could have argued Tavo, but at the end of the day, I can't disagree with Andersen and Aho being all-stars. Yeah. I think they got that one right. The Columbus Blue Jackets, because again, the NHL has to have, at least you got to have one representative from every team, which again was something Nathan MacKinnon had mentioned as just being kind of ridiculous. The Blue Jackets nominee is Zach Warrenski. Now, obviously, you need to get some defensemen into the mix. He has 21 points in 33 games. He's obviously the best defenseman on that team. If you were going to go for a forward, Oliver Bjorkstrand is the team's leading scorer amongst forwards. He'll never get the respect that he deserves. Then Boone Jenner's behind him. If you're going to go for an all-star from the Blue Jackets, sure. I think that's where you take Werenski. That's how you get a defenseman there. But you notice there, I mentioned the leading scorers. Again, 23 points for Boone Jenner, 26 for Bjorkstrand. But a man currently on, I think, COVID protocol is Jake Voracek, who is the last man in nominee. 25 points. 1 goal, 24 assists for Jake Voracek.
Put him on a line with Ovi.
God damn, could you imagine?
God.
Whew. That'd be ridiculous. So far, we're 2 for 2. I can't disagree. The New Jersey Devils, their representative is Jack Hughes. No disagreement.
Nope.
20 points in 20 games. The face right now of the New Jersey Devils. That's another good pick. No complaints. We're fine. So, hey, maybe this isn't all that bad. They're 3 for 3 so far. Hold on. We got to the New York Islanders. Their representative, again, they went for another defenseman. It is Adam Pelech, with their last man in nominee being Matt Barzal. Last man nominee, by the way, for the Devils is Jesper Bratt. There's no chance in hell unless the Devils fans go crazy in the voting. Adam Pelech, obviously not going to have the sexiest point totals. I imagine it could have been Ryan Pulock if he wasn't injured and limited to 12 games. We've talked about the Islanders' struggles pretty much all season long. You can go for Pelech. You need defensemen to be representatives. Barzal's leading this team, but only has 22 points in 26 games with 7 goals. It's been rough. Ilya Sorokin kind of got jobbed. He has a .925 save percentage in 21 games.
Yeah.
In terms of the other goalie nominees, of course, we already heard about Freddie Andersen. The Penguins have a certain goalie representative, as do the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, for Sorokin, it's understandable. You can only have so many goalies, but at the same time, and I'll jump ahead here in the alphabetical order list, the Penguins have Tristan Jarry and Jake Gensel. Tristan Jarry deserves to be an all-star this season. As crazy as that is, I know we all memed him to death after the playoffs last year. He still has a .929 with a .205 goals against average. He's been phenomenal. But on the same coin, like, again, I don't know. Like, Adam Pellick's, he's fine. Just a more defenseman. Again, Jari's great. Their last man nominee in Pittsburgh is Jake Gensel. Yeah. And honestly, Jake Gensel shouldn't even be a last man in nominee. Guy has 35 points in 30 games. Jake Gensel is an incredible player. I do believe Jay Fresh just put up he did a vote amongst his community. And, Jake Gensel was voted the most underappreciated forward in the league. And he just might be. He is that good. So, already we're kind of seeing some players get kind of jobbed, but you can see why. The Rangers have Adam Fox and Chris Kreider. Cannot disagree with that at all. They have both been incredible. Obviously, Adam Fox is the reigning Norris winner, and Chris Kreider we talk about every damn show because he doesn't stop scoring. Their last man in is Mika Zibanejad, which, it's funny because, like, team leading scorer Artemi Panarin isn't going. He wasn't nominated. He's not even the last man in. Kreider and Zibanejad both have 34 points. Kreider with the 23 goals. Again, goalie-wise, Igor Shesterkin, .939 save percentage in 22 games, but not going to the All-Star game. I get that the goalie competition was tough, but I would send Shesterkin over Freddie Anderson and just leave Carolina with Sebastian Aho. I think that's more than fair. I mean, again, are the Rangers still ahead of the? I think they're still ahead of the Hurricanes in the standings. If not, it's pretty close. Maybe the Canes are still ahead. No, the Rangers are. Points percentage: 34 games, 50 points for Carolina. 38 games, 52 points for the Rangers. So, Carolina is the second best team in the league in terms of point percentage right now, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, you get Claude Giroux in what could be his last season in Philly. Sure, you're not taking Carter Hart or Martin Jones. You're not taking any of their defensemen. You're going to go for Claude Giroux or Cam Atkinson. I can't disagree with it. That's fine, too. And then the Capitals, Alex Ovechkin with Evgeny Kuznetsov as a secondary option. That's all well and good. So, for the Metro Division, like I said, and stick with me on this. It's building. It's building. Metro Division, you can have some arguments. For the most part, though, you look at that and say, okay, yeah, I can see what they're doing. You have to have one representative per team. That's all well and good. Then you get to the Atlantic, and that's where the shady shit starts. The Boston Bruins nominee is Patrice Bergeron. I love Patrice Bergeron with all my heart and soul. Patrice Bergeron is third in team scoring for the Bruins. 28 points in 33 games. Obviously, you have David Pastrnak now at 30 points in 34. It's very good. Brad Marchand has 41 points in 29 games. He is not the Bruins representative, nor is he the last man in vote. That belongs to Charlie McAvoy, who is incredible in his own way. And yeah, I'd love to see Charlie McAvoy as an all-star. I think he deserves it. What the hell is this?
I think it's
no Brad Marchand.
It's a theme to me. It's like these people who Marchand has the reputation, Kadri has the reputation. I don't know. It's kind of a sneaking sort of feeling to me that's sort of what it's about, and it's very, very weird.
Brad Marchand currently is 7th in league scoring, and he will not be at the All-Star game. And again, as Sin alluded towards, that is not the most egregious example, but absolutely ridiculous that Brad Marchand is not there. Another reason why this rule is pretty ridiculous, the Buffalo Sabres have to have an all-star nominee. They again went for a defenseman with Rasmus Dahlin. Again, not bad at all. 22 points in 36 games. He is, I believe, second on the team in scoring. The funny thing is, I believe Kyle Okposo is leading this team in scoring with 23 points in 34 games. So good for Kyle Okposo. But and actually, then there's Tage Thompson as well, who was the last man in nominee, who has the same stat line, 23 and 34. So, again, you got to pick someone from Buffalo. Dahlin's fine. Detroit, Dylan Larkin, with the last man in nominee being Lucas Raymond. Larkin is the team leading scorer, I do believe, with 32 points in 33 games. Lucas Raymond has 30 points in 38. So based off of percentages, yeah, Dylan Larkin's the guy. Could you not have just sent Lucas Raymond, though? Have some fun with it. I mean, come on. This freaking guy is a rookie. He has 30 points in 38 games. Send Lucas Raymond. Let's have some fun with this. Florida goes for Jonathan Huberdeau with Barkov being the last man in nominee. Again, you can't really disagree with it. Jonathan Huberdeau, by the way, has 47 points in 36 games. He is 5th right now in league scoring. He is unbelievable.
Kind of nuts.
Barkov did miss time. He's at 27 points in 23 games. So, yeah, Jonathan Huberdeau, clearly the guy. Talk about underrated stars. Jake Gensel, Jonathan Huberdeau, two very underappreciated people. And then Montreal. Nick Suzuki, who is leading his team in points with 19.
Rip.
19 points.
I had to take a second there. I'm like, wait, everyone else you mentioned is like point per game at least. At least.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, Nick, how you doing? I got 19. Is that a good number? No. I mean, on your team, probably, yeah. But that's unfortunate.
This format of everybody gets, like, here's the thing, right? And we can talk about this. The idea of everyone gets a participation trophy and how people use that, and that's a fucking insult.
That's their projection. But yeah, there's issues with this.
Just keeping this for what it is, the idea of every team gets an all-star for the sake of marketing is fucking stupid. Like Brad Marchand not going to the all-star game. Think now. Remember how I said this was a setup of all the people that I've mentioned so far that aren't going, but Nick Suzuki's going with 19 points. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. The name all-star, the term, it doesn't mean anything at this point. Ottawa has Drake Batherson with Brady Tkachuk as the last man in nominee. Batherson, 29 points in 25 games, team leading scorer. Can't disagree with it. Kind of surprised Thomas Chabot wasn't thrown in there for last man in, even though he's not having the best season. But hey, if you need defensemen, he's a good one to add. So again, not the worst or most egregious example. And then we get Tampa with Andre Vasilevsky and Victor Hedman, and the Toronto Maple Leafs with Austin Matthews and Jack Campbell. For Hedman, like I said, he has 39 points in 39 games, dude. He's unreal. Stamkos is their last man in nominee, who has 45 points in 38. So it's kind of a shame that Steven Stamkos is not guaranteed a spot at the All-Star game, but Nick Suzuki is.
Yeah.
It's nothing against the Habs or Nick Suzuki. I think Nick Suzuki is a great young player. He's on a garbage-ass team that shouldn't have representation at the All-Star game. And then obviously, Austin Matthews and Jack Campbell certainly deserve to be there. So those are the Eastern Conference representatives at the moment. And already, even without taking a look at the West, it's just like, Is this really an all-star game? My thoughts, at least.
Yeah, the NHL, they were so against the whole John Scott thing and how much of a joke that was. And granted, it wasn't is he an all-star? Technically not. The fans wanted to see it. That was probably one of the most watched and talked about all-star games ever.
It has to be.
Yeah,
it has to be.
Here's the NHL wanting to throw people in there who clearly aren't all-stars. So it's like, what was your problem with John Scott? And yet you're going to throw Ryan Suzuki in there just because you quote-unquote have to? Sorry, he's not an all-star. He simply isn't. Yeah, like you said, good player, shit team. What is the definition of this? These aren't the best players. I would watch the All-Star game in the past, because it was cool to see all the best players, even when it was that East versus West, 5-on-5 stuff. Even before the Sharks were even getting anyone in there. Then that one year we had the Marlowe and Thornton and Heatley line. We had an entire line in the All-Star game. That was cool because we fucking earned it. They were crazy together. I don't know. It's just kind of weird with that, and it seems like really bad marketing. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's not a face. Suzuki
No,
yet.
he's not. Of all things, if the NHL wanted to grow the sport and showcase their talent, they would have an NHL game and a Young Stars game and showcase the young talent that's going to be coming up from the beginning. The NBA's done it. They've done a celebrity game too. But God knows how many fucking celebrities play hockey. Not a lot. Drake does. Drake plays hockey.
Drake versus Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Yeah, do that. But just, I don't know, what is with the NHL and marketing their stuff.
Drake versus Justin Bieber versus Nasher after watching him lay the body on social media.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Let's
Cookie
talk
in there
about that.
Make it a
after.
2-on-2.
Yeah, and get Architect
God.
just throwing haymakers in the fight against Tougie. It just blows my mind because they're doing so well with getting them out there. Like, it reminds me of the one time the Leafs had to have Roman Polak? No, it was Leo Komarov was our all-star representative for that. That was one of our worst seasons on record. And I'm like, at this point, you should be putting the top players there because they're the all-stars, not all schmucks. I get having the vote change after John Scott and the John Scott incident happened, which became one of the greatest stories after, and then him getting a podcast and him getting a spot in the Goon movie and all this and all that afterwards. His career was over, but just I don't know what's going on there. You have a clear opportunity to showcase what you have and to market the game, and this is the one thing you've been fighting for because of the Olympics, and you have a chance right now to do it, and then you fuck it up by doing stuff like this. Come on. It's going to be a good event, but at the same time, it's not going to be what it could be. Bring back East versus West. People liked it.
Is it going to be a good event, though?
I mean,
I don't know about you guys, but in terms of the idea of this 3-on-3 or whatever division versus division mini tournament, I don't really have interest in that. I don't have interest in the skills competition. You remember the last time when it was in fucking St. Louis and they had the players shooting pucks over the crowd?
Oh, that was
but
stupid.
they'd hit the closest target and it'd be worth more than the other target down the furthest. Like the skills competition has lost all of its pomp and circumstance to it. The All-Star game certainly has.
Yeah.
And this is another reason as to why with these ridiculous rules mandatory players, and I'll kind of breeze over it. Arizona has Clayton Keller, 26 points in 34 games. Yeah, Clayton Keller's an all-star for Arizona.
Milka.
Well, see, that's where I was going with this. You have Shane Gostisbehere, 23 points in 34 games, so only 3 points behind Clayton Keller as a defenseman. Karl Vejmelka, why the hell not? He has a 9-10 in 20 games on the Coyotes. Why the hell isn't this kid an all-star? Shit.
Weird. Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
They're
maybe
clearly
the
not
numbers
picking the
aren't
rating.
there, but
Yeah,
At least the Chicago Blackhawks got it right. Alex DeBrincat, 30 points in 37 games. You'd think he had more, but future captain Alex DeBrincat. Obviously, they could have gone with Patrick Kane. Probably don't want to do that right about now.
not going to be captain. Patrick Kane.
Seth Jones is their last man in nominee. In fairness to Seth Jones, him putting up points was never a problem. He has 25 and 35. But yeah, so not the most egregious. And then we get to Colorado. Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar are both in. Rightfully so, especially Cale Makar.
God.
And Nathan MacKinnon has 35 points in 23 games. Here is the problem. Mikko Rantanen has 40 points in 30 games. He is 8th currently in league scoring. He will not be at the All-Star game. Nazem Kadri, 48 points in 30 games in the last man in voting. He is 4th in the league in scoring, only behind Draisaitl, McDavid, and Ovechkin. Ahead of Huberdeau. Ahead of Stamkos. What the... I have to agree with Sin, and Endo, I want to know your take on this. Brad Marchand's not there at all, and Kadri won't be there unless he gets voted in. Just a little bit fishy, a little bit suspicious, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the writing's on the wall there. They clearly don't want certain people with certain histories at the show, which is understandable. But at the same time, if you're gonna promote an all-star event for being all-star talent, you gotta have that there. You gotta. We had John fucking Scott, the biggest, like not the biggest enforcer, but the guy who had like 3 career NHL goals. What? Just have it be fun. You're ruining the non-fun. Bring the fun back. Let them just fuck around and find out. Like, come on.
For the Dallas Stars, they at least got it right. It's Joe Pavelski, which will surely put a smile on Sin's face. 35 points in 33 games. Jason Robertson as well, 32 points in 27. I, again, love Jason Robertson. What a goddamn player. He's the last man in vote. Kid's 22. Like, again, Gensel, Huberdeau. I put Jason Robertson in that category of, like, people don't talk about how good of a player he is enough. So I'm at least glad he got that bit of a shout. And then we get to Minnesota. Kirill Kaprizov. That's fine. Team leading scorer, 40 points in 32 games. And Cam Talbot.
What?
Who has a .909 save percentage in 24 games. Cam Talbot going to the All-Star game.
Wait, for sure? He's not like a last man in?
Oh, he's not last man
What?
in. He's in. Cam Talbot's an All-Star, baby.
Sin looks absolutely gobsmacked.
Again, Carl Vejmelka has a higher save percentage on the fucking Coyotes. I got nothing against Cam Talbot, but what the fuck?
That didn't make sense, but all right.
I think that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make here. I'm going the long way around to get to that point, but this does not make any sense. More so than usual. Ridiculous. And Ryan Hartman is their last man in nominee. 28 points in 33 games, but Ryan Hartman's the last man in nominee.
Oh, he really
Matt Zuccarello is a point per game at 27 and 27. I can't explain this. I cannot. It's brutal. Nashville. Only for sure person that's in is UC Saros. Thank God. They're smart enough to have UC Saros there. Roman Josi, 38 points in 36 games as a defenseman, is their last man in nominee. He's not even guaranteed a spot. Not to mention, Mikael Granlund, 33 points in 36. Matt Duchene, point per game player, 34 in 34. Do you see the inconsistencies here, fellas, with the voting?
Yeah.
And how this is set up? Not that you didn't to begin with, but my God, as this lovely headband on my headset's giving me fits. There we go. St. Louis has Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas. I can't necessarily disagree. I mean, Jordan Kyrou's sick. He has 37 points in 33 games. That's fine. Robert Thomas has 28 and 30. Sure. Again, the more you look at these, the more you break it down. It's like, okay, we see what's going on here. But for Winnipeg, Kyle Connor has made the All-Star game. Mark Scheifele, the backup behind him. Kyle Connor, team leading scorer, 37 points in 34 games. Thank God for that. Mark Scheifele, by the way, 23 in 28 games, so not the most impressive, but there isn't a division here so far. We looked at 3 divisions, and I mean, aside from the Metro, where, again, you can kind of look at stuff, it's just, what even is this? And then the Pacific Division, Anaheim's nominee, John Gibson. Last man in, Troy Terry.
Are you fucking kidding me? All right, I'm sorry. I love Troy Terry. Where's Zegras? He's the fucking, oh my God, the literal most marketable player in the NHL right now. The literal most marketable player in the NHL right now, and he's not going to the All-Star game. You guys, I'm sorry, NHL. What do you? Like, it should be
John Gibson.
Go ahead. What are Gibson's numbers? Because in my opinion, it should be Zegras and Troy Terry. But what are Gibson's
917 save percentage with a 264 goals against average. It's not bad, but it's not great.
It is pretty good, but yeah, I don't understand not having Zegras there.
I mean, again, Trevor Zegras. Zegras has 27 points in 33 games as a 20-year-old. And Troy Terry, who I don't believe is hurt, he's on non-roster with COVID protocol right now, has 36 points in 38 games with 22 goals.
Yeah.
It's an easy slam dunk. Bring Trevor Zegras to the All-Star game. It's the same thing we mentioned a little bit early on in terms of the talented players that are there. Just you have them, use them. Again, for Arizona, like depending on the goaltending, like if it's even within the division, Calgary is Johnny Gaudreau. That makes sense. Yeah. Gaudreau, I believe, is still top 10 in scoring. He is 10th right now in the league. That makes a lot of sense. Their secondary option, the last man in, is Matthew Tkachuk, which is fine. However, Jake Markstrom has a .924 save percentage in 25 games. How does Jake Markstrom not have John Gibson's spot to allow Troy Terry or Trevor Zegras to just outright go to the All-Star game?
Makes sense.
It makes too much sense, clearly. My God.
Laugh, cry a lot. That's what I'm doing right now, because this is ridiculous. The wrong guys are going. It's
wrong
like
kid died.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's just like, come on. What more do you want? Proper people to get respect that they deserve. The guy who has the greatest goal so far this season
with the sequence.
It doesn't make any sense. You have the most marketable.
Right? He's legit short circuiting.
Yeah,
yes,
we are almost done.
Marketable player is not going. How the fuck? You don't want him doing fucking Michigans and doing all this crazy shit on the fucking thing? You're supposed to have fun, right? Let the guy who's having the most fun every single fucking night while playing the sport out there.
I mean, if you're not going to take the best guy available, take the guy who will make the most memorable moments. Like, there's no point. Like, hopefully Ovi goes. He was nominated. He might not go, as is tradition. Like, a lot of these guys, like Ovi, Crosby, famously does not go. They don't care. They'd rather take the suspension. But how much does it mean to a Trevor Zegras that he gets to go and he gets to showcase his skills? Again, it's so easy. For Edmonton, McDavid and Draisaitl are nominated and hopefully going. Darnell Nurse is their last man-in nominee with 14 points in 27 games. Again, I don't know if it's sorted by division instead of conference, but for the love of God, Shane Gostisbehere deserves more of a shout. By the way, Arizona's last man-in was Phil Kessel. Phil Kessel has 23 points in 34 games, the same point total as Shane Gostisbehere, but Phil Kessel gets to go. Potentially, if he's voted in. It's the dumbest. For the LA Kings, Adrian Kempe is their nominee. Much to Crash Andrews' delight. Kempe has 23 points in 37 games. 16 goals, but 23 points in 37 games.
Where's Kopitar?
At 33 points in 37 games. 10 more points. He's healthy. But they didn't send on Anze Kopitar. I don't know why. I don't know why. Kempe's been good this season with the goal scoring, but can we not, unless Anze's don't fucking pick me, I'm not going, Anze Kopitar is 34. This might be one of the last All-Star games he gets a chance to make. Celebrate the guy properly. And then Drew Doughty's their last man in with 19 points in 18 games. In terms of point production, Drew Doughty's great. However, you remember how I mentioned goaltenders. Jonathan Quick has a .921 save percentage in 23 games. He has better numbers than John Gibson. Send Jonathan Quick for one last All-Star hurrah. Leave John Gibson at home. Bring Trevor Zegras. Easy. It's so easy. The San Jose Sharks nominee is Timo Meier. The last man in nominee is Logan Couture. Get fucked, Tomas Hertl.
Yeah, apparently.
Get fucked, apparently.
Because they know he's going to get traded. Sorry, son. Oh, my God.
In fairness,
he's another face. If they get him out there, they see his personality. We love him in San Jose. a lot because of his personality and the weird quotables he has with his broken English, and he's just a lovable dude. He's happy as hell all the time. It's again, that's silly.
Meyer's the outright option in terms of points.
He's been
Couture is slightly ahead of Huberdeau in terms of point production. Again, Darnell Nurse was up there for last man in, but Brent Burns has 26 points in 38 games. Erik Karlsson has 22 in 30. And I'd hope if he wasn't injured, James Reimer would get a shout for goalie. He has a 9.16 in 20 games. That's, I believe, compared to the 9.17 of John Gibson. So
and it's much
Meyer
better.
making it is the right move.
It's much better than the 8.90 we got from Martin Jones.
The Seattle Kraken's nominee, Jordan Eberle.
Yeah.
Eberle has 24 points in 34 games, second highest point percentage amongst forwards. Jared McCann, slightly above him. Jordan Eberle is, I guess, more marketable and maybe the more high-skilled player you want to put on display. Their last man in vote is Mark Giordano. I can't imagine he would make it in. Has 11 points in 30 games. So for Seattle, you're certainly not going for goaltending. Jaden Schwartz is hurt, so yeah, Eberle or McCann, that's fine.
We all know would have been Tanev for sure if he wasn't.
No. See, it wouldn't have been, but it should have been.
What?
If Tanev didn't get hurt, it should have been him for how marketable he is. They still probably would have sent Jordan Eberle. Based off of this list, that's a logical conclusion that we can make.
Okay. Yeah.
The Vancouver Canucks have Thatcher Demko going to the All-Star game. JT Miller is the other option. Demko, 9.16 save percentage, sure. JT Miller leading the Canucks in points at 36 and 36, the only point per game player on the team. Quinn Hughes has 28 points in 35 games. Nah, not even a sniff of last man in for Quinn Hughes. It just doesn't.
He should be going Tougie. Cool. Jack and Quinn.
Like, if you're looking for another defenseman, right? Why have Mark Giordano? I mean, I know that you have to have Mark Giordano in, but the idea is, another defenseman might go. Why not have Quinn Hughes in? Why not just have JT Miller outright go to the All-Star game? And then the Vegas Golden Knights, Alex Petrangelo and Mark Stone, both in. Jonathan Marcheso, last man in. Mark Stone has 25 points in 22 games. Tough to disagree with that.
Yep.
Alex Petrangelo has 24 points in 37 games. I mean, again, I've mentioned some defensemen's numbers that kind of rival that, so I don't really know how he's outright in.
Wait, he's outright in?
Oh, yeah. Alex Petrangelo is outright in the All-Star game.
Over Quinn Hughes, okay, yeah.
Over Quinn Hughes,
Over
yes.
Theodore as well. But I mean,
yes. Yeah, I think Theodore is currently non-roster. Yeah, Theodore's currently non-roster. COVID protocol. But still, Theodore has the better numbers in production. And then I mentioned Jonathan Marcheso. He has 27 points in 34 games. That's a .79 point per game average. There is somebody on this team who has a .95 compared to Marcheso's .79.
who is it?
And that is Chandler Stevenson,
Oh, yeah.
who is significantly outproducing Jonathan Marcheso. But fuck you, Chandler Stevenson. This time, no, name value does matter. And we can't have Chandler Stevenson there. So what have we learned, everybody?
The points are made up and nothing matters. Or everything's made up and the points don't matter. There we go. That's
Yep.
what I got it there. I got there in the end.
Sorry, I'm just.
And that's it.
I just read something on Twitter that made my brain fucking hurt. Oh boy, it's in relation to. I think we're talking about it later, but yeah, I'll talk about it later.
Yeah, send me whatever it is, and we'll see if it's worth.
It was it was a comment that someone left on the
Oh God, let's not bring up Twitter comments.
Oh my God, it was about, in relation to Aisha Vishram and her becoming possibly one of the first women.
Yeah, I don't want to bring it up
trainer.
then. I already.
Yeah, I'd like to not bring up a comment and just celebrate the fact that there's going to be for the LA Kings tonight a woman behind the bench
It was funny
first
to
time ever.
me. It's not like offensive funny, but it's like a weird fucking comparison. I'm like, holy shit, that's terrible.
Go for it and let's see if you get canceled.
Someone equated this to Rosa Parks.
All right, Endo's officially canceled.
Sorry,
Jesus.
I'm just like, wow, that's the wildest comparison. I mean, I understand like it's big for the game, but I don't think it's a civil rights.
It's not, which is why we don't bring up Twitter comments on the show. But you know what? Sometimes, much like that All-Star game may have floundered for some people going through.
I apologize.
And Endo just made sure that me talking about how shit the NHL is in terms of their All-Star structure wasn't the worst thing on the show. So
oh man, what a fucking take! Well, I apologize, but that was like too like it like made my brain stop, and I'm like, what?
Fair enough.
Okay.
So,
anyways, back on the regular program.
Endo, in general, like, look, people are like, oh man, you gotta rant and rave about the All-Star game. This is as close as I'm getting to it because we've known for a while that the All-Star game has been shit. The selection process for players is shit. And as you have heard now over the past little bit, it's still shit.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why I will not be watching the All-Star game. I have better things to do.
I was just going to say, I probably won't be watching it again this year. I can't remember the last one I watched, honestly. The John Scott one, I remember that. Maybe I watched the one after. I don't know, but that's really the main one I watched. Yeah.
Like, I normally watch the skills comp, but in terms of the actual All-Star game itself, it has been a very, very, very long time. John Scott game, certainly, but even then, yeah, there aren't too many examples of me actually watching the All-Star game. And obviously, I mean, amongst the three of us, we are in that top percentile of diehard hockey fans. We have a podcast about it, and we don't plan on watching the All-Star game. So who is the All-Star game for? Exactly. That's the problem with the NHL right now. With that, let's get to our little day-by-day segment as we do. A couple of other talking points here to round out the show. We'll flash back to Tuesday night. The Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Buffalo Sabres 6-1. We said it last week. There have been some ridiculously high-scoring games as of late. I don't know what the hell is going on. It has to be because of all the different lineup changes and how many people are in and out of the lineup. Andre Palat's 15th of the year. Cirelli's 10th. Stamkos has 17 goals. Not an all-star, though. And Nikita Kucherov scored a hat trick because, of course, he did. He's got 4 goals on the year already, at least as of Tuesday night. Tampa is 24-9-5. And again, Kucherov has not been there for the majority of the season. The three-peat might just be alive and well.
Yeah, they still look pretty damn good. And, God, remember when the Sabres were like 4-0? They're 10, 19, and 6 after that. Or going into that. I don't know. Either way, fuck.
The Florida Panthers allegedly played a hockey game on Tuesday night against the Vancouver Canucks. Florida won that game 5-2.
You know who else won?
Sam Reinhart, 2 goals, up to 11 on the year. Sasha Barkov scored his 15th. Aaron Ekblad has 10 as a blue liner. Those are stats I just named off that I don't know if anybody else on earth could name off because something happened on Tuesday. Boys, what happened on Tuesday? Who wants to give a take on this first?
It's a very delicate subject, and I'll have to take the lead on that. A very famous.
You are using the word "take" way too much in terms of this conversation.
There's a lot to give. There's a lot to give.
Hip hop icon Kodak Black was in his suite box, and
next to the team's front office.
Yes, next
suite.
to the team's front office. He was in his own press box, and then he was potentially also in another type. Never mind, that's too far. I'm not gonna finish that.
Let's just say Bobby Lou almost saw someone else's Bobby. Let's just say.
So here's the thing. Like, it's been brought up that they weren't actually doing what it looked like they were doing. She was dancing on him. His pants are up. Who knows? Who the heck knows? He looked hammered in any video that I've seen. I don't even know what's going on. So he doesn't even know what's going on. It was a spectacle, and of course, only in Florida. First, you had Kevin Spacey, which was going to be good, and then it wasn't. Now you got Kodak Black, and yeah, NHL refuses to even make a comment on it, which is Never.
Oh,
seen
well,
them do that
they
before.
had the tweet saying, hey, everybody, Kodak Black is here. And that tweet is no longer out there.
Oh my god, that was the greatest.
NHL stays taking L's, dude, and it's the funniest thing on the planet if it wasn't so sad, but they do it to themselves half the time.
It is beautiful in a sense, though, that, again, you almost want to embrace stuff like this, because how many people learn that the Florida Panthers are a hockey team because Kodak Black may have had sex with somebody at the game? Like, the amount of attention that this got on social media, on TikTok, come on, man. Like, I'm gonna look up the view count on the video right now. What do you guys think the view count happened to be on the original tweet for this video of this clip?
I'm gonna say it probably eclipsed the Trevor Zegras thing of his.
I think it did. In fairness,
yeah.
Like 3 million. 3 million easy.
let me see what that Trevor Zegras clip has as well. But I don't know if I'll be able to find that one.
Yeah, it's fine. Just
as easy at this
3
stage.
million's
The
good.
Kodak Black clip on
I'm
Twitter
gonna say 5.
has 7.8 million views.
The price
That's
is right. I was higher,
marketing!
but holy shit.
That's beautiful. What the hell? NHL is running a perfect opportunity to be like, yeah, that's a Kodak moment. Like, come on. Like, oh man.
It's going to be, most likely, by the end of the year, the most viewed clip related to the National Hockey League this season.
Lol.
Embrace it. I'm not saying bring Kodak Black all the time, but don't delete the tweet. You know, you gotta, much like Kodak Black, you gotta lean into it a little bit.
Yeah, do it like that weird AA baseball, whoever the hell that was, the something.
Oh my
Pickles, who
God,
had that very
The Portland Pickles, baby.
most problematic pick I've ever seen. Did they delete it? No, they played off of it. They laugh at yourself, NHL. Seriously, like personality. We've been pining for personality in the NHL, and they just shut it down at every single fucking moment possible.
Oh, you got personality. That's for sure. There was a thin layer of fabric from turning that from a grinding, like Jamaican dancehall, Dutty wine kind of thing into like full on, like going at it kind of thing. Man, but I just think the timing of everything, because you have one guy recording it, going it on. You had people who are right underneath of them, not knowing what the hell is happening. Everyone else around them is seeing all this happen. The press box is seeing this happen with everyone in the Flyers in the what is it? The Panthers organization seeing that. It was perfect. It was literally a Kodak moment, and of course it's Kodak Black, who has been relevant in like, God, how long? It's been a while.
My God, the Roberto Luongo
Yes,
tweet
that was
as
brilliant.
well is the perfect way to sum it up. PA announcer, please keep your eyes on the puck at all times. Everyone, okay. Kodak, honey, turn around. It's not safe.
It's so good. It's so good.
Oh my God, just an all-time moment.
Yeah, and that-
an all-time
That
NHL
ties
moment.
that segment up beautifully. Thank you, Roberto.
Also on Tuesday, the Chicago Blackhawks beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-2. Alex DeBrincat, captain, future captain, 2 goals, up to 23 on the season. The rightful Hall of Fame nominee. Put him in already. Someone who can actually lead that organization to good things. On the flip side, Boone Jenner, 14 goals on the year. Again, good for Boone Jenner. Not going to the All-Star game, though. Fuck you, Boone, apparently. The Nashville Predators beat the Colorado Avalanche 5-4 in overtime. Tanner Jeannot, 12th of the season. Again, good name for the rookie race. Luke Kunin, 2 goals, up to 7 on the year. Hut Lord Matt Duchene with 2 goals, up to 16 on the year. Again, not an all-star, though. Point per game, Matt Duchene. How? Like, how do you not celebrate Matt Duchene after a comeback season like this?
He's a hot all-star. There you go.
There you go. And shout out to Cale Makar, who scored again another great goal. Pretty much every show, we talk about Chris Kreider scoring, Kyle Connor scoring, Cale Makar scoring. It's just, it is what it is. The more serious talking point, though, surrounding the Avs has been, he's not necessarily a prospect at this stage, but Bowen Byram stepping away from the team due to concussion-related issues and actually being willing to have that information out there and to be shared. And pretty much all I can say is I am so happy that sports have changed.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't have been all that long ago that a player like Bowen Byram, 20 years old, 4th overall in 2019, you have to tough it out. You have to get out there. You have to prove your merits as a draft pick like that. You and Nolan Patrick, get out there. We gave up a top 4 pick for you guys. Get out there. And then what happens? They likely take another hit, maybe another 2 or 3 after that, and done before they're 30. Obviously, it's a relief to know that a player like this, even at 20 years old, can be able to say, I am not okay and should not be playing right now. And that knowing that if Colorado were to essentially punish him for it, that they would take a lot of heat, and rightfully so.
It's just really sad. So that he's already going through that shit, and it's been like such a lingering thing, and like Cape's coming back. It's just, man, we still have a lot to learn around head injuries, and yeah, it's just a tough situation. I feel for the guy, and I feel bad for him, but again, I'm glad he's doing the right things, and hopefully it just continues to shed light on the topic.
Absolutely. The Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Vegas Golden Knights. Hey, and we get to talk about a Leafs win for a couple of seconds. The Leafs beat the Golden Knights 4-3 in a shootout. Nylander's 16th of the year. All-Star Matthews is 23rd. And Ilya Mikheyev scored again. Is the hype level still at DEFCON 1 levels? Because, my God. All of a sudden, again, it was like, all of a sudden people are talking about Ilya Mikheyev. And every time I look at the score sheet, he's there. I don't understand.
I think it's really funny that everyone talk about Ilya Mikheyev again, because first thing it was, beginning of the season, he write him off. He's terrible. He's trash. Ship him off. Beginning of the season, he wanted out. From what I remember hearing, that he wanted to get traded. And I will bring this up every single time, that he wanted to get traded because he wasn't being used as an asset. But then injuries happened, and now he's the guy that they got him out for at the beginning. He's fast. He has a crazy shot. And so far he's using it, and he's basically I think he's like a point per game right now. He's doing very well, and if he can stay healthy, he can definitely help out this team. Aside from that, I'm glad they got the win. We're going to talk about some questionable gameplay shortly, but
Yes, we are.
Oh boy, lay it on me.
God. Well, we'll get there. We got a couple of games to go before you get destroyed with that. Also on Tuesday, the Penguins beat the Ducks 4-1. 2 goals for Jeff Carter. Evgeny Malkin comes back now as we talk about Malkin here. Again, first game of the season against the Ducks. 2 goals to start the year. Reminder, the Penguins were 29-5 and had that 10-game winning streak without Evgeny Malkin. And now Evgeny Malkin's back. Some teams, man, just have all the depth and all the luck, don't they? It's ridiculous.
Yep.
As well, Gladson's back. San Jose beat Detroit 3-2 in overtime. Goals from Meyer and Couture. Your thoughts on that Sharks game, if you're able to catch it?
Yes, I did. And also, who scored was VL. We got that game-tying goal. That was very, very interesting.
I missed it. What happened?
He just driving the net, got shoved down, falls into the goal. He still gets the puck in. It gets reviewed, and it's ruled a good goal because he got shoved into it.
So he scored the shootout goal that everyone tries in NHL back in the day, where you send the puck in front of you and then dive at it and waggle the stick.
Yeah, kind of, but he went feet first into the goaltender, and the puck still went. It was a crazy looking goal, and Red Wings fans were pissed and shit. But it's been a lot of animosity in the Sharks and Red Wings game. It's very weird. It's they're not even in the division, not even in the conference, and it's weird how that happens. Against all these divisional rivalries that we want to see, all these sparks fly. It's very rare, and then you'll play a random team for the other conference, and all of a sudden you hate each other for no reason, and crazy things happen. It's weird.
Remember the Leafs and Canucks from a few years ago?
Yeah. What the heck? And then, it was. And then Couture does Couture stuff, and he scores an overtime goal because he's Couture, baby. But yeah, not too bad. The Red Wings are good though, man. they're coming. They're coming.
Again, I view talking about, like, again, shitty things the NHL does. Again, I hate the playoff format too.
Yeah.
For the idea of, like, we got to force the same rivalry games every year, where instead, again, like a couple years ago, everyone wanted Islanders and Leafs in the first round of the playoffs, and how amazing that would have been. Again, there have been other times where it's like, hey, Bruins Habs doesn't necessarily make sense, but you give us the Bruins against this team, and oh my God, this is great. And it's always physical games. So that's another thing the NHL could change. Speaking of Bruins and Habs, the Bruins kicked the ever-loving crap out of Montreal on Wednesday night. It was glorious. Brad Marchand with a hat trick, up to 19 goals on the season, but not an all-star. Yeah, I know. No name value there.
Marchand?
Brad Marchand. Bradley Marchand. No idea who that is. No idea. Real Jonathan Cheechoo. Real one-hit wonder. I'm sorry, he's like the first name that comes to mind.
It's fine. It just made me smile because I was going through the 06-07 snipe and score roster build today, and I saw Jonathan Cheechoo.
And Heatley and Thornton and Marlowe. And it's now, I mean, you did say on Twitter, wait and see.
Yes.
Snipe might like that roster. Did you give it away? Is it the 07 Sharks?
No, I was going to do the 96-97 Avalanche, and I started with that. I started this video like I'm going to start this thing. And what I did is I went through all the lines and was just like being blown away by nostalgia and remembering names, wondering why I remembered names. I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'm like, I might just make a whole series of me going through rosters, but I still need to put out some kind of a franchise mode in between my next like real one. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to do another one from 06-07 with the Detroit Red Wings, who around that time were really good, make it short contending series. And then just went through those roster same things. And I'm going to give everyone a choice here. So by the time this launches, the videos won't even be out yet. They're coming on Saturday and Sunday. So whatever.
You still got the 2011 rosters to go through.
That too. But
and he's and he started putting together a 2002 roster build.
All
again. Snipe and score
go through
series
and make those standalone videos because I had such fun looking at those rosters and remembering those names. Radek Bonk.
Radek Bonk.
Get bonked.
Series S or X users, NHL 22, again, with roster sharing. Check out Snipe and Score's rosters. And again, hopefully in the future, that feature is cross-gen, cross-plat, and everybody gets to partake because Snipe does wonderful, wonderful work. And again, he is one of those people that I said for years, as much as people were excited to use the custom rosters that I do and that I provide, Snipe's rosters are why I was very, very excited for the feature.
Phenomenal. I was looking, I'm like, oh my God, this is great.
Yeah. And the problem is they're so good. It's like, God, do I use the 96-97 one? Do I use this one? Do I use that one? It's a problem.
Yeah, that's why I'm putting it up to a goddamn vote.
Yeah, it's added replayability for sure for guys who play franchise. That's the one thing I've been saying. A little tangent about EA again. They need to let us have control of the game. They need to let us have control of their.
That's what every good game has is customization.
Basically, they need to give us. I've always been saying for different modes and stuff like that. If you're playing online, playing with people that you know in a private lobby, you should be able to customize the rules however you want it. You should be able to play arcade, no penalties. Any penalty is equal to like a penalty shot. So you have like giant enforcers running around with each other, and whoever gets scored, whoever takes the penalty has to take a penalty shot with an enforcer.
I mean, yeah, expanded house rules. Yeah. I mean, again, like my biggest requests offline, it's like you talk about franchise, like let us customize the league. That way, because with Snipe's rosters, he has to make like, the best of Team Europe, the best prospects to fill out the spots for 32 teams, because obviously back in the day there weren't 32 teams. There weren't 32 teams as of last season. This time a year ago, there were not officially 32 teams yet. So why can't we have it that, this league only has 23 teams and we can reset the divisions? And then, of course, it gets into the other problems, like, hey, I need more customization for gameplay because the AI suck and don't shoot the puck, so I don't want to outshoot them 34-5 every game. There's just so many things they could do, and God, we could talk about that for hours and hours on end, I'm quite sure. But, oh, man, and now I'm sad thinking about what NHL 22 could be instead of what it is.
It's a good game, but just badly maintained. There's so many things that they could be doing, but I think then it goes to like if you're going to put out a product every year, you do purposely leave out certain things so that we don't have the best game out every year, not knowing how to top it. It's whole semantics and business stuff, unfortunately. If we could have the best game, we would have had the best game already. NHL 04, go back, play that game, enjoy it. Yeah.
I mean, NHL 2001 to 2006, you literally can't go wrong with any of
Oh
them.
yeah, soundtracks alone. Oh my god.
So it's one of those things. Screw it. Hey, we're talking about it. I mean, franchise-wise, like, Sin talking about the idea of content. Like, I look at those snipe and score rosters, the 07, the 97, and I was going to do like a full 82 game playthrough, actually playing the game because it's fun with those rosters. And of course, I did that on NHL 2K10 with the Philadelphia Flyers for the sole purpose of their goal song at the time was "Doop." Go listen to it. Look it up. Flyers, DOOP. It's the best goal song of all time, perhaps. I cannot find a slider set that's interesting enough. I simply can't.
It's
just
bad, dude.
like there are a lot of good slider sets on Operation Sports that make the game more fun. But at the end of the day, you cannot control how infrequently the AI shoot, how the AI elect to shoot. I don't think I've ever seen the AI do a D-to-D one-timer in my entirety of looking at NHL gameplay, watching it, playing it.
They don't.
It's just
They don't act like hockey players. They don't even skate like hockey players because of the way they're controlled. They do all these like weird, like I've completely stopped playing the gameplay of NHL 22. I haven't done that at any other point besides now. I tough it out. I learn it. I get good, and like I just did not have the patience or the mental capacity this year. I completely stopped. Don't play League. Don't even play EASHL with friends, which has always been the case. I've always at least done that. Nope. And if I am doing that, yeah, it must be really bad, the gameplay.
Yeah, I've gone back and played Legacy Edition and playing there Be a Pro because at least there's some sort of narrative. It doesn't take 3 hours to get through a game. No offense to 22 and 21 and having to go through 20 different menus to get to like a single game. It's just, I will say it again, just not polished. It's good, it's decent, but it's not like it's not showing that the game has developed in any sort of way. And if I'm going back and playing a game that's almost 10 years old now and having more enjoyment out of that over a game that's now like $100 Canadian to buy, then it shows you that you're something's missing out. If there are features and something from an old game that happened before then and they're not here or having more fun with the old piece of hardware instead of the new stuff, then you've got to reassess the drawing board and figure out what's going on.
Bad enough when one of your main franchise people goes back and plays 2K10, a game that's over 10 years old and made by a different developer.
Exactly.
God, we'll get back on track here because again, this we could literally just have a podcast exclusively for this conversation. In that Bruins game over the Habs, Curtis Lazar also scored 2 goals. Big shout out to Lazar. The Bruins' fourth line, they're kind of figuring things out now. They have a pretty good setup there, so I'm very excited about that. The Bruins, as Bruins fans know, often work best when they have a good fourth line they can rely on. And in that game, Habs defender Chris Weidman, not the MMA fighter, headbutted Eric Holla and was suspended for a game. So remember that when we talk about another form of discipline that was handed out, but a 1-game suspension for a headbutt. The Dallas Stars on Wednesday beat the Seattle Kraken 5-2. The Kraken record now 10-21-4. Not great. Rupe Hintz scored his 14th of the year. Robertson his 13th. Joe Pavelski had a 2-goal game. He has 15 goals on the year now and had a 5-point game in this game, which is a career high.
Goddamn right he did. Joe Pavelski is a gentleman and a scholar, and he's Captain America.
God. Sin, where would the Sharks be right now if they had kept Joe Pavelski? How much better of a spot would they be in, if at all? I mean, because obviously you can't really dictate what other moves they might have made, but...
It's tough to say, because obviously we wouldn't have... I don't think we would have Eklund. You would probably still be able to be competitive. Just, here's the thing. You acquired another terrific OFD to throw pucks on the net, and then got rid of greatest flexion guy.
The greatest net front presence in the league.
I would even say the game has ever seen. I mean, you can maybe argue in his heyday Johan Franzen, but he was more the screen guy, clean up trash. No one has had the deflection skill that Pavelski has, and he works his ass off at it. And yeah, I didn't. I mean, I understood it at the time from the business perspective. Kane's younger, Pavelski getting older, beginning to decline, but apparently not. And skating was never a big part of his game. So he's losing the wheels, but that was never what he did best, like ever. He was never a strong skater. That's why I got drafted in the 7th round.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's kind of similar to like Joe Thornton and Jaromir Jagr. It's like, okay, the like elite level speed was never a part of their game, so even once that starts to decline, they're still useful.
Yep.
They've been prepared for it the entire time.
Yeah.
Oh, Endo, are you ready?
Aye, aye,
This game was
Captain.
hilarious.
The now 8-23-3 Arizona Coyotes defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs on, I do believe, a 2-1 scoreline on Saturday. 2 goals for former Sens great Ryan Dzingel. Blue Jackets great as well. He's up to 4 on the year now. Austin Matthews scored his 24th of the year. Goaltender who's not going to the All-Star game, Karl Vejmelka, stole this game, to say the least. He finished, and the stat line comes from Natural Stat Trick, he finished with an 4.89 goals saved above expected in this particular game. Endo?
In one game. That's us end of the season
In one
stat.
game.
That's a fucking end of the season stat to strive for. Like, what the hell?
Well, put it this way. In January, Vejmelka had a goal save above expected of 2.43 for the month. It was a 4.89 in that game against the Leafs, and that 2.43 number in January was 3rd in the league, only behind John Gibson, who was at a 2.96, so not that much differential there. UC Saros was at a 7.11, by the way, for the month of January. Yeah, there's a reason why Nashville's doing as good as they are, and he's the under 6 foot Finnish short king, known as UC Saros. And Leafs lose to Arizona because, of course, they did.
As you can tell, for the visual listeners, you can see what's on my shirt, but audio listeners, I'm wearing a an Arizona Coyotes Tux T-shirt, because not only because I had to switch my shirt because I'm tired of wearing the same sweater for the podcast, but because they own us. They literally owned us this game. I have to wear a shirt like this, especially when they kicked our ass. For a goalie to put up those numbers just in that game alone and to not get any sort of nod to the All-Star game, what? Like, you should, if that happens, you should be reassessing just that one guy to go to the show, because you're going up against Toronto Maple Leafs, who are still strong. They're very strong. Still arguably one of the top teams in the league. To basically get shut out, because we all knew Austin Matthews was going to score at home against his favorite team growing up, his hometown team. It was a no-brainer. So technically, I call that Vejmelka game a shutout with an asterisk.
Yeah, it was what, like you said, like 24 seconds left in the game that Matthews scored, so it
Yeah.
might as well have been, yeah.
It's a shutout.
But again, not an all-star. Cam Talbot is, though. It's ridiculous.
I give up. I give up. I don't even ask anymore. I just let it
Well,
happen.
this is why, like, you as a Leafs fan, you can't have any confidence, because you're facing a team that is absolute trash, and
Yeah.
of course this happens. Like, you almost expect it to happen.
It's kind of like every time we walk into Buffalo, we already know we're going to lose, because Toronto has a terrible track record against Buffalo. Terrible track record. Oh,
We'll move on to Thursday. We'll spare Endo the sorrow. We'll move on to Thursday. We'll breeze through it pretty quickly. The Bruins beat the Flyers. David Pastrnak with his 11th career hat trick. He's up to 16 goals. Back-to-back nights at home, by the way, for the Bruins to have a hat trick between he and Marchand. And it's great to see Pasta heating up a little bit. It wasn't that long ago, again, that I mentioned, like, I'm not really holding it against him.
Yeah, you were a bit worried, though, like with the lack of production. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it was
concerned.
very unlike him to have that low of a production number, and I'm trying to find the stat line or the note that I had seen about David Pastrnak yesterday, but essentially, like, his point pace over the past like 2 weeks. He has outscored. Okay, here it is. It's from. It's actually from Daily Faceoff Fantasy. David Pasternak's first 28 games, 8 goals. David Pasternak's last 18 periods, 8 goals.
Yep, pretty good.
So I mean, again, he's one of the best goal scorers in the league. He has figured it out, and thank God for that. The Lightning won again. Stop it. They beat the Canucks. Tyler Mott scored a sweet between the legs goal, though. It's always nice when someone who has 4 goals on the year scores a really sick highlight reel goal. Kind of reminds you that these players have that in their toolbox. It's just not their job to try and break out those moves. Like, you can, if you're Trevor Zegras, go ahead. If you're Tyler Mott, you're trying to pull off the Michigan every night, you're going to get sent down. What the hell are you doing? That's not what we have you up here for. The Blue Jackets completely pooped on the Carolina Hurricanes, 6-0. One of the more shocking results of the season.
They didn't blow the lead this time.
There you go. The Blue Jackets held the lead, and the Hurricanes had an off game, which I think we've seen a couple of times now, right? It can happen with good teams. Literally, we've had NHL players outright talk about how tough it is to stay motivated when you're in the middle of a season.
Yeah, and especially when you're at the top of the mountain, like they have been. Like, it's whatever. They laid an egg. Don't do it. Like, they'll come back, and if I was Canes fans, I wouldn't even be concerned. Like, those kind of games happen. You don't like to see it. It sucks to watch, and you get frustrated. But they're gonna be fine.
The Jets beat the Red Wings 3-0. Nothing overly notable there. Again, the Jets continuing to kind of surge up the standings. The Red Wings, again, the playoff hopes are starting to look a little bit bleaker. Again, they also have. I think they have some injury concerns. And, of course, Tyler Bertuzzi can't play in Canada. The Islanders beat the Devils. The Devils have injury concerns as well, so that's not surprising. I was going to mention it, but we already talked about Matt Barzal's point total earlier and how kind of bad it is based off of his standards. There was a illegal check to the head of friend of the show, A.J. Greer. Ross Johnston of the Islanders suspended for that one. Oh, isn't that interesting? A hit to the head. 3-game suspension. We're going to bring this all back together with our final talking point. Blues beat the Kraken because, of course, they did. The Sabres beat the Preds. Nashville, you're 24-12-2, but the Sabres are still a tough team to beat. The Sens beat the Flames. Cool. And again, for Calgary, they're down now. They're 17-17 if you combine the regulation and overtime losses. Yeah. That's starting to get a little bit concerning if you're a Flames fan at this point, I would have to say. Because that was, you talk about the Sabres' red hot start, but we all kind of knew, okay, they're gonna fall back down to reality. But the idea of Calgary kind of falling back to maybe where people thought they were going to be, it's a little bit worrisome. And right now, they are actually, granted, better point percentage, but they're behind the Sharks, directly behind the Sharks in that second wildcard spot.
Yeah.
Sin's shocked face is, the Sharks are currently in the second wildcard spot.
Forget,
who knew?
I legit forget, but it's also, I'm pretty sure the Sharks have more games played than a lot of other teams because they made us play through 7 guys out in COVID protocol.
The only teams they've played 38. So Nashville's played 38. Vegas and Anaheim have both played 39. Aside from that, San Jose's played more games than everyone else in the West.
Yeah.
Kings beat the Pens 6-2. 2 goals from Anze Kopitar. Not an all-star, though. Fuck you, Anze. Fuck you, Slovenia, apparently. The New York Rangers shut out the San Jose Sharks last night, 3-0. Shesterkin gets a shutout in his first game in almost 2 weeks. Kreider scored 2 goals for 23 on the season, and Braden Schneider scored his first NHL goal. Sen, you just want to sum it up in one word?
There was a fight. That's what I remember from that game. And also, fuck Trouba. Yeah, there we go. That guy is getting away with so much dirty shit. I don't know how he hasn't been punished yet. Anyway.
Well, people don't get punished because you remember how I've mentioned the suspensions and everything and all of that nonsense. Mm-hmm. Chicago beat Montreal 3-2 last night. For Chicago, I do want to mention Dominic Kubalik scored his 7th of the year. Kubalik only has 13 points in 37 games, which is brutal. For someone of that stature, where it's oh shit, this guy's going to be really good. Patrick Kane, 33 and 33, we talked about it.
Yeah.
Calvin DeHaan, with the most blatant slew foot I have ever seen in the NHL, went uncalled after he literally went full Cobra Kai, swept the leg on Cole Caulfield, and only gets fined $2.5K. I want everyone on the Bruins not named Brad Marchand to start sweeping the leg. They're not going to punish you for it. I can't wait for the playoffs because Bruins fans are going to have to be on the defensive because absolutely they're going to start slew-footing people like no one's fucking business because the NHL has set a horrible, terrible precedent for a lack of proper disciplinary action in regards to slew-footing, as we have seen with PK Subban pretty much all season long. I like Calvin DeHaan, but my God, this was one of the dirtiest hits I've seen this season.
It's just stupid. The NHL is setting themselves up for failure, as they so often do. And I'm kind of... it's sad that it's just expected, but yeah.
With that, everybody, unless Endo has anything to add.
I just took a look. That's not even a slew foot. That's just that's a foot. That's a foot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a foot.
Like, literally, he takes his leg, it sweeps, out Caulfield's legs. It's insanity. It's absolute insanity.
Hack the bone.
So with that, everybody, we will head out of here for today. Got some stuff that people have to attend to here to wrap up this show. But we do want to thank you very much for listening. Of course, if you made it to the end of this, again, a gigantic thank you. Excuse me. We will be back this Tuesday for more. Should be great. Sim will be here with us the guys, the fellas. Of course, a big shout out to Manscaped. Should have used code Tougie there. 20% off, free worldwide shipping. And of course, thrivefantasy.com as well. Make sure to use code Tougie. There will be a link in the description. Gentlemen, good show. Up until we talked about NHL 22 when we all got kind of sad to end it.
Yeah.
Like the demeanor of the entire show.
It was great. It was fantastic.
Oh, what could have been.
And then we talked about NHL. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will see you then. And go play older hockey games and have a fun time.
Go play Legacy. Enjoy Legacy for what it was.